I'm going to call the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order. Can we start with a roll call?
Barbara Barossa.
Aziz Hassan.
Norma Drummond.
Tara Franco.
All right, can I ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we do have a revised agenda this evening. We wanted to acknowledge that item number 7 has been pulled by the applicant requesting an adjournment to March, and then we did add an executive session to the end. We need to discuss some pending litigation with our attorney for a very brief period of time, so we have added that to the agenda. I did want to alert the board members that Pam did check out when the presidential primary date is, and it's going to be in April, but it doesn't affect us. It will potentially impact the planning board, but not the zoning board. So our March and April meeting dates should be fine. So our next upcoming meetings are March 8th and April 12th. The likelihood of snow in March still exists, so I'm going to remind you all of our snow policy. If town hall is closed, then our meeting is canceled and there is no makeup meeting. If you are scheduled for a public hearing that evening, we just ask that you then change the date on your sign to reflect the April meeting instead of March. But otherwise, we were lucky tonight, so hopefully we'll continue and be lucky in March as well. We do have one set of minutes to approve for January 14th. There were just some very, very, very minor adjustments to that. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so the order, what?
I read the minutes, but I wasn't here, so I abstain.
Okay, we still have 3, so we're still okay. Barbara's abstaining. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, technically, she can even approve them, but, you know. All right, just the order of these this evening. First, we do public hearings. These are applications where this board has already reviewed what the applicants are asking for. But it's the opportunity for neighbors to be able to comment on those applications. We then go to reviews, which is generally the first time where we see most of these applications. So with that being said, I'm going to start with item number 1, which is as an adjourned public hearing. Appeal 3731, Joseph Kenna, 538 Hosner Mountain Road, Stormville, is requesting a 30-foot rear line variance for an existing garage with a landing and stairs, an 11-foot rear line variance for an existing in-ground pool, a 13-foot rear line variance for an existing pool patio, a 3-foot rear line variance for existing pool equipment, a 19-foot rear line variance for an existing swing set, a 7-foot rear line variance for an existing 10-foot by 10-foot frame deck, and a 45-foot rear line variance for a proposed 34-foot by 22-foot detached garage pursuant to sections 194-93, 194-95, and 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to reconvene the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we are reopened. I do have a request from the applicant to requesting an adjournment from this evening. The applicant is not here this evening. I understand he is working, having a discussion with his neighbor. Bring the mic closer. Shucks. So he is working out some potential, I don't know, something with his neighbor. So he has requested an adjournment to the March 8th meeting. But if there is any neighbor here that wishes to comment, you are certainly welcome to. So is there anybody here who wishes to speak for or against the application by Joseph Kenna? Seeing none and recognizing the request to adjourn to March 8th, do I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, good. We'll take that up again next month. All right, so item number 2 is a public hearing, Appeal 3769 Reland. Richard Reland, 22 King Road, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 8-foot front line variance for a proposed covered front porch and stairs pursuant to section 194-94 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening. Mr. Reland is here. We did have an application, I think twice now, to review your application.
Yes.
Motion to open public hearing.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Aziz. And so we've had an opportunity to review your request. You have an existing house that, based on the new survey that you provided to us last month, actually, most of your deck, you're requesting an 8-foot deck to be able to come out on the front of your house to really to improve the look of it, a covered porch there, which 8 feet allows you to be able to put a chair or two on it and be able to have walk-around space. And the way the topography of the front of your house is, it kind of goes down we actually discussed the potential of you building up the front of it there to be able to eliminate the stairs and then ultimately to eliminate the need for a variance. But because you probably already have quite a bit of leveling off in that area anyway, it probably just didn't make any more sense to consider that. And really, you're trying to improve the look of the front of your house, which is going to improve the value of your home and improve the neighborhood there. So, I certainly didn't have any questions or concerns, but we did want to, give an opportunity for your neighbors to comment. Is there anything else you want to add to?
No, just that when we went back into the survey, it turns out that the corner of the deck and the steps now are in a dead heat for which one is out, so it really became a moot point with the steps, so.
And the only thing we did discuss was whether you could actually set the steps into the deck,
Right.
but you were concerned that because it's so close to the front door, that it didn't give the same landing area that you would normally have when you step outside your door. So you'd be
Right.
concerned from a safety perspective if somebody was standing there and they happened to back up or something, and so.
I did go look, it does exist as you described, I saw some like that.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it, and
Yeah.
in some cases, it really works really nicely, because it's just set into the deck, but, it doesn't always work, so.
Okay.
Are there any comments or questions from board members?
I'm good.
So is there anyone here who wishes to comment on the application of Richard Reland, 22 King Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting an 8-foot front line variance for a proposed covered front porch and stairs? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Over.
I'll do it.
Oh, you wanna
She's
go?
coughing.
Catching her breath.
Appeal number 3769 for Richard Reland. It's an 8-foot front line variance for proposed covered front porch and stairs pursuant to Section 194-94 of the zoning ordinance at 22 King Road, zoning district R1. Resolution offered by zoning board member Tara Franco, whereas the applicant has applied for an 8-foot front line variance for a proposed covered front porch and stairs, and whereas the application is a type 2 action under SECRA, no further action is required. Whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on January 27, 2016, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on February 9, 2016, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community, as the porch will enhance the front of the house. The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means. The variance requested is not substantial, and the proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request by Richard Ryland, 22 King Road, Hopewell Junction, for an 8-foot front line variance for a proposed covered front porch and stairs pursuant to Section 194-94 of the zoning ordinance. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed in the town with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows. Aziz?
Aye.
Kara?
Aye.
Barbara?
Aye.
And myself, aye. So your motion carries. You're all set.
Okay, thank you. So how soon can I apply for the permit? I can do that tomorrow if I want it?
Tomorrow morning.
Thank you so much, appreciate your help.
Have a good evening. All right, item number 3, Appeal 3772 Rom, Madeline and Steve Rom, 4 Dillon Court, Hopewell Junction, are requesting a 7-foot sideline variance for a proposed in-ground pool pursuant to Section 194-95 of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm still waiting for Rainbow Pool, but I have a letter from one of my neighbors.
Okay. All right, just in the way of introduction, we've spent a couple meetings now working with Michael Todd from Rainbow Pools on your application. That's okay. Where you have a really odd-shaped lot, no question. And the shape of your lot is kind of like an hourglass behind your home. We understand that you're looking to install a free-form shaped pool, so it's not just a normal rectangular pool, but it is rather large. And some of the dimensions of this pool, I think one way was like 35 feet by, I don't remember.
18 by 29 by
Okay, thank you,
35.
18 by 29 by 35. So it was it was a large pool. And so we do understand that the property to the, good evening, to the left of you is not, it has not been developed, so you don't have a neighbor there yet. But that it's also because of bankruptcy foreclosure, proceedings, that it's not even necessarily, might not even be available. We did explore with Mr. Todd about potentially doing a lot line realignment or something like that. So we're
We
not sure.
did look into that. And because of the situation with the lot, there's nobody really to sign off, and the county already said it wasn't an issue to move it, so.
So we talked about whether you could move it closer to the deck, but obviously for safety reasons, you don't want it too close to the deck. We did acknowledge that there are some tanks to the side, your septic tanks.
Yes.
We did ask for a measurement, how close they were. We didn't get that information. So, we did ask, could the shape of it be moved? Could it be turned? We were told that you were not interested in doing that it was your wish to have what you were asking for. So we agreed we would conduct a public hearing and hear from your neighbors to see if they had any concerns. Is there anything you wish to add, or? Okay. Is there any comments or questions from board members?
I've been, again, last several go-arounds, we had asked that, it be rotated or moved, and I was wondering, is there a specific reason that you don't want to move it? I mean, rotate it a little bit so that you have your variance limited?
Well, the real issue is when the house was first built, the town made them move the house to the side and back. They had to take down the original foundation because the house was more forward. Quite honestly, I didn't think of that when it was moved. It just was never a thought. This was always a plan within the reason for buying that house and doing what we were going to do. And then we were going to move the property line, but in lieu of bankruptcy and everything else, and I already spoke to the engineer, but nothing could be signed off on, not knowing who really with the property owns it. So here we are.
Okay.
I mean, even if you move it, I think quite, we had talked about it because you have certain, I think it's possible to kind of even rotate it a little bit. So we are not asking you to move it, we're just asking to rotate it a little bit to reduce your,
To where?
I mean, just,
Well, we had asked, could you turn it a
I mean, if you
different
can-
direction?
I don't have nothing.
Because we were trying to eliminate the need for a variance. If you can do that without,
you can come and look at it, at this, I mean, the map that I'm looking at.
Yeah, let's take a look. So,
I mean, you have this property line up here, this is.
that's your
okay,
setback line. Yeah.
Setback line. If you just rotate it a little bit, so this one comes a little bit closer and this one moves away, you might be able to get your shape.
I don't build pools for a living, so
Okay.
I'm not even going to get involved in
Okay.
this, because this is,
Okay,
you know what
that's
I'm
fine.
saying? Like, I don't.
Again,
Yeah.
we've
I'm
heard,
looking at this and I see mega space, and there really isn't, so.
Right.
yeah, again, he has already explained that he can't, that's what you want and that's what you're gonna go with. and
Well,
that's-
again, it's not what she wants. To spin it, you have to see the hillside that comes down here. You're just making more excavation and then pushing the pool. If you turn it, it goes somewhat closer to the house.
Yeah, because this is all up. We're going down, like, there's a hill here. And there's another hill coming in on this side too, because the property kind of goes like this. That's the flat of the property that we're trying to utilize where that comes in.
I see, okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
All right, but if this
Makes sense.
distance to the setback line is 25 feet, you clearly have room for a patio, et cetera, so you have at least 25 feet to the deck. So that's why what we're asking for is, can it be shifted a little bit, potentially to eliminate a 7-foot variance? That's what we've asked. Because there's no question, you have room, you can put a pool in there. It may not necessarily be this shape of a pool, and you can do it without a variance. So, you know, we're trying to work to the extent that we can. We're trying to work with you, but it's, you know, we have concerns about giving variances for pools.
For what reason? I mean.
Because pools are, it's not a necessity. I'm going to ask you at this point, if you could step back to the microphone. Pools are not a necessity. Yes, they're recreation, but generally, the closer you are to your neighbor, when you're using a pool, because of the water, the sound gets amplified, thank you. And so ultimately, you can be more impactful on your neighbors. The town used to have a code that allowed pools to be only 10 foot from the property line, but they changed that back in 2001, I want to say, to increase the distance to 25 feet. So it's important in this town that pool distances be as much as they can be from your neighbors.
How many pools were built 10 feet away from the property line?
I have no idea.
Would you say there's a number of them out there?
I would truly have no idea. Pam, you would know.
But even with the lot.
That may, you know, you might not even know. I have no idea.
But that was in effect. The house would be so far away from us anyway.
Yeah. So I have.
Anyway, let's focus on this.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's
No,
focus on the
well,
application. No, let's focus on this. You have a request. Are there any neighbors who want to say anything about this situation?
Well, let's deal with
Oh.
board members first. Make
Okay,
sure your questions are.
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm good.
No? Barbara?
And behind, along the property line, did you have plans to vegetate that? Obviously, you're going to fence it, but what, are you going to do screening? I know there's nobody there, but in the future, there could be.
It's all wood behind me. I go 4 acres all the way down to a creek.
Yeah, but not necessarily behind you. What we're more
But
concerned
if you-
about
if
is
I-
to your
I-
neighbors to your side.
I know
Oh,
Barbara's
it's-
question, if it's where the subdivision is, the house is so far forward. Basically, they did that lot line to get the well away from the septic, so they could make that a legal lot. So basically, the house, it certainly, I think the Rumps would want to vegetate it just for their own privacy, but it's not going to, it can impact even where the house has to go on the other lot.
It's so
It's
far
not like
away
you,
from
it's not like you're giving a variance to an unfinished subdivision. That house has to be so far forward in order for that to have a legal septic system and well, you know, wells in the front, but the septic system, everything else.
Okay. Barbara, any other questions? Before I open it up to the public, there is a note that you've provided from your neighbor dated January 25th, 2016, East Fishkill Zoning Board of Appeals. We received a letter in regards to appeal number 3772, 7-foot sideline variance for a pool at 4 Dillon Court. We live just a few lots away at 19 Derrick Drive. We are not able to attend the meeting, but want to give our support for this variance. We have no issue with their request. Sincerely, Lisa and Kyle Dwyer. All right, so I'm going to put this in the file. All right. So is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Madeline and Steve Rom, 4 Dillon Court, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 7-foot sideline variance for a proposed in-ground pool? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close and reserve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we're not prepared to issue a decision this evening, so at our next meeting, hopefully, we'll be prepared to have that decision for you. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 4, Appeal 3773, Collado. Harry Collado, 66 Marcy Lane, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 6-foot sideline variance for existing deck stairs. The deck was built with the house and is included in the CO pursuant to Section 194-17 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, just to recap, because we did see your application last month, you have a house in the Hopewell Glen subdivision that backs up onto Fishkill Road, and there's just the way the lots were built, those homes have smaller lots because it was what's called a cluster subdivision, so there's more open space within that subdivision, but what it means is your lot tends to be closer, you have limited setbacks, and the way your deck was built, You actually, the building department approved a slightly larger deck for you because of a gas line where your footings would have been otherwise. So we're going to acknowledge that within our, when we're done with this application. But you had, in essence, you would like to have stairs on the back of that.
Yes,
And to
ma'am.
be able to put the stairs on, because the deck encroaches in the setback, you're here before us for a variance. We do understand those stairs are existing, but again, it makes the deck much more useful to you to be able to get downstairs and onto your backyard from, from the rear of your house as opposed to having to walk all the way around. So,
Yes, ma'am.
is there anything else you want to add?
No, ma'am.
All right, I mean, realistically, I drove by there, it looks like any normal deck would, and the fact that your lot backs up onto Fishkill Road, very few people are going to be looking in that direction anyway to be able to see it, and it doesn't impact your neighbors, so. Any comments or questions from board members?
I'm good.
Good.
Is there anyone who wishes to speak for or against the request from Harry Colato, 66 Marcy Lane, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 6-foot sideline variance for existing deck stairs? The deck was built with the house and is included in the certificate of occupancy. Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And,
All right, this is appeal number 3773 for Harry Colato, located at 66 Marcy Lane, Hopewell Junction. Resolution offered by zoning board member Barbara Barosa, whereas the applicant has applied for a 6-foot sideline variance for existing deck stairs. Whereas this action is a type 2 action under seeker and no further action is required, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on January 27, 2016, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on February 9, 2016, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community as it is existing. The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means, as the deck was built with the dwelling and was enlarged from the original plans due to the location of the gas line. The addition of the stairs provides the homeowners egress from their house to the yard. The variance requested is not substantial. The proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request by Harry Collada, 66 Marcy Lane, Hopewell Junction, for 6-foot sideline variance for the existing deck stairs and pursuant to Section 194-17 of the zoning ordinance. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
before we get a second, Pam, didn't we add a line to this?
That's what I, yes.
We were acknowledging the... All right, we're gonna add a line in here, and Pam will get the exact language that I had suggested to her.
Well, I
But
thought
it's-
it was part of this original plans due to the location of the gas line.
Well, I think we put it up, there was like the second whereas is where we had put it, because we just wanted to recognize that the building department approved those plans. So we're going to have Pam add in language to put a second whereas in here. Right, the building department approved it because, again, where the footings for the gas line are. So, again, I mean, beg the board's indulgence here, that will include a second whereas that recognizes the building department approved the expanded deck that
Well, we
falls
have
within
the
the
was
setback.
enlarged from the
It's going to be
original.
similar language to that, but there was this,
What can we add in a little more there?
Pam will get it.
yeah, Pam, I know we took the time to make sure we acknowledge this. So, trying to blank We did this last week, so.
Enlarged at the request of the building department? Or was it-
Not, it wasn't at the request of, it was acknowledged, though, by the building department that it was the appropriate way to go, because otherwise the deck really would have been too small. Where the footings had to go would have fallen on the gas line, and so they would have had to shrink the deck, making it really practically unusable, or they agreed I think they agreed to, it allowed an extra 2 feet to be able to get past the gas line to put those footings in. So, I mean, you know, we do have some language recognizing that, but we wanted to recognize here, so you never had any question with the sale of your house that the deck was in fact okay and recognized by the building department. I'll just give Pam another minute and see if she gets the language.
Should have gone to a commercial.
Where are those Super Bowl commercials when you need them?
What's happening with this one? Okay.
How about this?
Go ahead.
The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means, as the deck was built with the dwelling and was enlarged and approved by the building department at the request of the builder from the original plans due to the footings being originally located above the gas line.
I'm be okay with just saying approved by the building department. I think that's the important recognition here. Like I said, we had added an extra whereas at the top just to recognize that, but I'd be okay with adding was enlarged from the original plans and approved by the building department.
And we should say due to the footings being,
Due to the location of the gas line and
Due to-
and the footings needed for the deck. How about that?
okay.
That's fine.
Okay. I'm going to read that section again. The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means, as the deck was built with the dwelling and was enlarged from the original plans and approved by the building department due to the location of the gas line and the footings needed for the deck. So, you
Second
okay
is
with
am- Second is amended.
that? Okay, good. So votes as follows. Aziz?
Aye.
Tara?
Aye.
Barbara?
Aye.
And myself, aye. So the motion carries. So you're all set.
Thank you.
Okay?
Have a good night.
Thank you. Lisa, can you just go grab Pam? Tell her, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it.
Okay.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, item number 5, Appeal 3774, Catherine Casal, 1 Kennedy Boulevard, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 63-foot front line variance for an existing 10-foot by 14-foot shed, which is located in front of the rear line of the property pursuant to Sections 194-107 and Note Number 11 of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good evening. All right, so last month, we had an opportunity to review your application. you and your husband moved a shed, a 10-foot by 14-foot white shed, from another property and moved it to this yard. I did actually have a chance to drive by your property and kind of study it a little bit from the street, from what I could see, and you definitely have a challenged lot, okay? Your backyard is not at all flat. It goes from a high at Old Hopewell Road down, significantly to
the
your
mud.
neighbor. The front itself is also pretty challenged. You do have your front walk that runs pretty close to where you've got the shed. The shed's not in great shape. I don't know if it got a little banged up or something. The back of it, at least, along Hopewell, it looks like it got a bit scratched or something, probably when it got moved.
It's dirt.
Could be, I don't know, but it
That's
was...
we just got that, like, a few
Okay.
years ago.
Pam, thank you.
You're welcome, sorry.
That's solid as a rock.
Okay, well, and I did notice that the front of it, closer to Kennedy Boulevard, it's not necessarily even flat where it is now, that you did have to level
no,
it
nothing's
off up on
flat.
that end.
Yep.
Yeah, it is extremely visible, and it's partly because of the white color. Honestly, your neighbor who's across the way, who does not have a legal shed, okay, your neighbor opposite has a brown shed that...
The one right in front of me?
Yeah, the one
Okay.
right in front of you.
With the boats?
And theirs is in front of their house and equally as close to Old Hopewell Road, but because it was brown in color, you almost didn't notice it. It was like, and it was smaller, okay? Theirs was probably 8-foot by 10-foot shed. It was much blended in, so much better, and it just didn't stick out like yours.
So you didn't see the boats either, huh?
Well, that aside.
we like them very much, so I'm not going there.
I'm sticking to the application, okay, before us.
Well, there's a lot of- the
So
thing
I do want to ask a question. Did you consider, it is likely to be more impactful to your neighbor to your left, but did you consider putting it to the left of your driveway, again, in the front of your house, but where it's going to be much more accessible to your driveway?
It's kind of hard there. Because
It wasn't level, but it was more level than probably
here's the
anybody else in
problem
your
with
yard.
that. That's really the only way to the backyard, whatever
Yes,
yard I have.
I agree.
We paid over $500 to have that moved with the stuff in it. My husband is disabled, which I
Right.
got that letter. This is easier for him to come out of the house, go right there, go and do his crafting. I told you I'd put some trees for you, but to move it is going to be such a challenge. He doesn't have the strength to put all that stuff back in that falls, that you can't tie up. It's really, really hard. That's the problem. This is for him. He couldn't show up. He's in too much pain. He has got more plastic surgery. It's really been a challenge for me.
Okay.
So this is the original letter from the doctor.
Okay.
And he has a tag with you all in the office here that he is New York State disabled for the rest of his life. I just can't give this the original.
No. Well, what you can do is, if I can read it and the board can see it.
Absolutely, and here's a letter.
We do not want to keep it in file because it is,
I'll come back tomorrow. I'll give you a copy.
no, don't.
And then here's a letter from my neighbor right to my right. I'm not going to fall this time.
And not going to knock our nameplates down?
He has no problem with it. He's my neighbor to the right, number 4. I'm going to step back away from you.
Yes, please. I'm going to give you your notes back in a couple minutes, so not to worry. All right, so Joseph Casal is your husband?
Yes.
Okay, because the application is in your name, so. Okay, so there is a letter here from a Lyle
Procession.
Possession?
Possession.
Okay, MD from Westchester Avenue in White Plains.
Excuse me, ma'am, can you talk into the microphone, please? They can't hear you.
Yes, procession.
Thank you. So if board members want to read that, that's fine, but again, I'm not going to keep that in the file, but it is, we did recognize, and you did introduce the fact that your husband has limited mobility.
Extremely.
And so that's something for this board to consider in its review. But there is a letter here addressed approval of shed at 1 Kennedy Boulevard from Scott Engelman.
Yeah.
Hi, Catherine. This is dated Monday, February 8th, 2016, 9:15 at night. I got an email from the zoning board regarding your shed. I'm not able to attend the hearing on the 9th, so hopefully you can use this email to ensure that the board is aware of my approval. Feel free to share this with them. I'm fine with the shed. I don't see any reason why it should be an issue for anyone. I'm sending this email to simply document the fact that I'm okay with the shed as is and see no reason to worry about it. Take care and good luck. All right, so this one we're going to put, your neighbor's letter, we're going to put in the file,
That's fine.
okay?
And the people across the street, I
It's not your,
send me anything.
that's fine. It's not your concern in terms of what will happen with their shed, but, all right, this letter, if you want to come back up, we're going to return to you, okay? So we acknowledge that we have seen a letter from a doctor speaking to the limited mobility issues of your husband. All right, so really, at this point, the issue is the cost of moving it, but you have offered to put some screening. It is I told you, even at night, you see it. And so it unfortunately, again, because your neighbor across the way has a shed there, I don't want people to think it's just okay to put sheds there when they're, it kind of really detracts your attention from the road because you're wondering, why is there this white box there, So what kind of screening were you thinking of putting there?
Some trees? I mean, some
Some evergreens, something
Something that
green
grows
to kind of
just
break it up?
straight,
and-
just straight up.
Like some arborvitaes or something like that?
I think that's what they just like, they kind of grow this way.
Yeah, but they'll grow like 6 or 8 feet, sometimes even taller. I will tell you, my one other concern about a shed this close to a road, and part of your issue is that Old Hopewell Road is being a county road, that your setback is supposed to be 80 feet from the road, and so that's why,
Is it?
I'm sorry, 100, but because of your, because of the shape of your lot and where your house is, you're requesting a significant 63-foot front line setback because of that. What I've noticed is that people with sheds tend to put things around their sheds, like leaning things against them, and,
I don't allow that. The one thing that you do see in front, on the side,
yours was clean,
I
there was
don't allow
nothing
that.
around.
If we have a shed, it goes in the shed. I don't allow that.
I commented to Pam earlier today, there was a variance for a garage that this board had approved, not the first time they came in, but a second time on Palin Road, and there's stuff around the back of the garage that you don't see from his house.
wish my family was with me.
But people driving on Palin Road are going to see that.
I don't
And so,
allow it. There's even there's stuff outside now because we have to put all the stuff in from the Christmas. I'm freaking out.
Okay.
It needs to be put away.
You are a responsible neighbor, not all people are like that, and so I appreciate
I
your
appreciate my
addressing
house.
that. So.
And where I'm living.
So one of the things this board has to consider is if we do approve a variance, it's there for the lifetime of the property. It's not just for your residency and your husband's residency.
Oh, if I
at the
sell the
house.
house, that's coming with me. That's not staying. It's coming with me. It's not permanent. Like it's on, if you came up to my property,
Right.
I could move it at that point. Because we're going to take it, but I'm not going to
Okay.
do it again if I'm not going anywhere, that he doesn't have the strength to do this.
Okay.
I'm going to take it, but I'm not going anywhere.
So you're willing to have, it's
To limit the life of the,
limit the life, so you're willing to limit the life of this location for the shed?
John, can we do that?
You-
I'm not moving
Recognizing,
anytime
Condition it under
soon.
these
I just
things,
moved there.
statutes you encourage to.
recognizing as a reasonable accommodation for a mobility?
When I sell
For
it,
ADA,
it'll
correct?
come with me.
Okay,
That's
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. But again, screening would,
I
think-
wouldn't have this shed if he didn't need to do what he has to do to keep him sane at this point of his life.
Okay.
We don't,
Again, with the Americans with Disability Act, there are certain
Reasonable accommodations.
accommodations, and so we are trying to figure out if that, it would be able to use that, and again.
I would
if you-
really appreciate it, because honestly, he's been through a lot. It started with going down to 9/11 and helping dredge through that. He kept getting sick. So this is a reoccurrence,
Okay.
which we're hoping is ending, but,
All right, we've now heard from one of your neighbors. Are there any other comments or questions from board members?
I'm okay.
If not, is there anybody else here to speak for or against the appeal from Catherine Casal, 1 Kennedy Boulevard, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 63-foot front line variance for an existing 10-foot by 14-foot shed located in front of the rear line of the property? Okay, seeing none. No, I think I'm going to offer
Close and
that we
reserve.
close and reserve, exactly. I think we want to be careful how we craft a resolution, okay, to be able to address the specific needs associated. Otherwise, we're going to get sheds all over the place on,
okay.
okay?
So, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so you don't need to come next month, but we will start the meeting, let's say, with a decision related to yours and the other application that we had done.
So would I know before the meeting?
No,
Decision?
because we would, until
So
we actually
I
take a
should
vote. we
come
won't
then,
know.
right? I should really come to see your decision?
You're welcome to, or you can watch it on, it's on.
I
it's
saw
live on
enough
TV.
the last time. Thank you. That's how my neighbor,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
All right, that's it for our public hearings, and again, I hope you appreciate the fact that we spend time doing the reviews ahead of time, so that when we come to the public hearing, we can get through them as efficiently as possible. So now we're going to get through the reviews, the rest of our agenda. So item number 6, Appeal 3761 DuBlanc, Theodore DuBlanc, 4 Brook Lane, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 23-foot sideline variance for an existing 12-foot by 20-foot shed pursuant to Section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening. I believe we've seen you once before. I've seen an application.
Yeah, we were here,
Okay.
and I'll show you.
So if you don't mind, just take us through your,
We had two issues that we took care of.
Okay.
The carport and the accident garage in the back.
Okay.
They were down, and we got letters from all the neighbors.
Oh, good.
saying
Okay.
they had a problem with the shed.
okay. All
You
right.
want to bring it, you want to include it now or at the public hearing? Because this is a review.
Well, we can put it in the file and then acknowledge
Okay,
it, so
okay.
that's fine. All right, so that's okay, thank you. If you could, bring the pictures next month when you have your public hearing, all right, and then... Huh?
We have to come back next month?
Yeah, this evening, we're just doing a review, make sure we understand what you're asking for, and then we'll set a public hearing and ask you to come back, and then we have to hear from your neighbors if they have any
We'll
concerns
get
about it.
the results.
I understand that you've given us an acknowledgement from your neighbors, but they have to have an opportunity to comment there. So let's just quickly go through what it is that you're asking for. So you have, Pam, I don't have thank you, survey here. Again, because this is an older application, so. So you've got a raised ranch house, you've got a driveway to the right of your house, the shed, all right, before you had the carport immediately behind your driveway, that's now gone. And then you have a shed behind that, the wooden shed. There's another shed further back on your property.
Yeah, toward the
But that's
left.
the one that you tore down.
No, I took down the
The garage.
canvas one.
Thank you, that's what
this
you,
shed,
okay,
That's
got it.
10 by 14.
Okay.
That's legal.
Okay, so in front of this shed, is there still some kind of patio or path in front of this?
No, this,
Oh. Well, between the shed and the
That's-
carport, there was
Yeah,
like a
this-
little
is this-
walkway.
This is the shed that's still there, right? So is this a patio or something here?
it's just, it's like between here and the shed. It's just like a stone, so.
Yeah, it's a
you wouldn't
patio.
get no-
Like a
no
walkway.
weeds. Just, like, it's only,
But it is a patio, and it's how close to the property line? It's only 2 feet.
Is it a patio or is it
well,
gravel?
it's the length of the shed.
Right, but so, and the shed ends 2 feet from your property line,
Right.
right? So it's a stone, if you take a look at it, it's a stone patio. So we have to acknowledge that patio. While we're taking care of your shed, let's take care of the patio. All right, because you're not going to take that patio up, are you?
It's only 2 feet wide, just a.
It doesn't matter, the patio belongs 15 feet from the property line.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, while we're doing it, we'll take care of it at the same time, that's all. If your neighbors don't have any objection, hopefully we'll be able to
It
deal
just
with that.
it keeps down the mud and whatever, keep
Oh, I
the leaves
understand.
away.
No, I definitely understand. I'm not objecting, it looks fine, it's not intrusive or anything like that. But while we're here, let's take care of that, okay? And then, is this lean-to behind the shed still there?
Yeah, that's part of the side of the shed where I keep my firewood,
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
just to keep the firewood dry.
And that's the canvas, that's gone?
Yeah, that's
Got
gone.
it, okay. And so your lot was
That was there,
yeah,
so that's gone, and
your lot is the lot that drops off significantly behind your house, and you have a horrible flooding issue
Oh, yeah.
certain times of the year.
yeah. That's why I couldn't put it no place else.
Right, that's why I agree, you're limited by where on your yard you can put that, so.
Yeah.
Again, just to refresh the board members, that's the lot during the dry season, and that's the lot during, all right? So, there's no question. You get a lot of water in your backyard, so. And even where you have your shed, it's not necessarily level. You've actually built up,
Yeah, I had to build it up.
yeah, had to build up the back of it. Okay. All right, questions or comments from board members?
I'm good.
We're okay to advertise?
Are you gonna, yeah, are you gonna amend with the patio up there
Yes,
also? So you're gonna include that?
How wide is the patio?
Maybe 2 foot.
2 feet?
2 feet, but it goes,
It's the length of the
it's the
shed.
20-foot shed length or the 12-foot length of the, is it the 20-foot length of the shed or the 12-foot length of the shed? It's the 20-foot. So Pam, the patio, it's a 2-foot by 20-foot patio that needs a,
It's 2 feet away, so
it's 2 feet away, so it needs a 13-foot variance. Don't worry about it. Okay, we'll include it, the notice that goes to your neighbors. They'll hear about it, but they know it's there already, okay?
Are we holding these current pictures?
Yeah, can we keep these pictures in the
Yeah, you
file
can
here?
keep 'em.
Okay. And Pam, I'm going to give you this letter that we received, but please make sure for next month that we get it to read it into the record. All right, so I have a motion to advertise. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, Pam will give you your instructions, because you have to put a sign up on your yard, so that your neighbors know we're going to conduct a public hearing next month, and then we'll see you next month.
Okay.
Okay, so Pam will give you your instructions for your sign. All right, item number 7, Appeal 3770 to Chico's Discosa. Actually, this is the one that's been requested to adjourn it until March, so we're not going to hear that one. So item number 8, Appeal 3775 Roland, Todd Roland, 14 Milltown Road. Holmes is requesting a 59-foot front line variance for a proposed 1,200-square-foot garage, 30 feet by 40 feet, and a 241-square-foot variance as the footprint of the existing house is 1,599 square feet, and section, in accordance with, pursuant to Section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, this is the first time we are seeing your application, so
Yes.
if you don't mind, take us through what it is that you're asking. 30 feet by 40 feet is one heck of a garage. Could you explain why you're asking for a garage that's that large?
I currently have one at another location,
Okay,
and I like that size. It's actually pretty small.
okay.
Seriously, it is. It's small.
30 feet by 40 feet?
It's only 1,200 square foot.
Yeah, but a typical two-car garage would be 24 by
Well,
24, so, that's, so is it 3 bays? What's it going to look like?
I think there's a picture I sent with it.
No,
We don't have it.
We have this, is this, we have one picture, I don't know, is that the,
No, that's not it.
That's not your property?
That might be the property, but that's not the garage.
Do you have an accessory apartment in your?
Yes, I do.
You do? Okay. Actually, there's a reason we have this picture. The building department was out at your property, and there's 3 meters at the property?
That's the way it came.
That's the way what?
That's the way it came.
Why would there be 3 meters? Just curious, is there some common area that,
Yeah, there is a common area. Yes, there is. And don't ask me why. That's the way whoever built that did that.
so this was, how long have you owned this house?
About a year.
Oh, okay, all right. So this is not your doing here. Because we were also curious, why is it so high in the air?
I bought it a year ago. That thing's been like that for, I don't know, a guy ran a business out
I
of
mean, it's
that.
probably taller than you are. No?
What's
Or-
that?
Yeah.
The meters? No, it's not that tall.
It's not that tall?
No, it's maybe 4 foot.
Okay, all right. It looks, from where we're looking, it looks like it's
Well,
going to be tall.
the guy ran a business out of that location for many years
Okay.
before I picked it up.
Okay,
And I just made it a resident with an accessory apartment. That's
okay.
all.
And there is a permit for the accessory apartment, Pam, right?
Correct.
Yes, I have all that.
So we're okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all. The building department wanted to just bring that to our attention, so.
No problem.
Okay.
and additionally, your plot, you have like a L-shaped lot. so-
Yes, I have a very weird shaped lot over there.
Correct.
Not very happy with the lot, but it is what it is.
So where,
Yeah, go
the
ahead.
driveway, where would that come in off of? This is hard to tell what you have planned. Would you come in off this side or this side?
Oh, I'd probably have to just come in right there,
Okay.
right off wherever I put the shed. I just.
So you're going to have a second curb cut?
Excuse me?
You're going to have a second curb cut?
What do you mean? I don't understand what you
Is
mean by that.
there a driveway now? that
No, there
takes-
is not.
You don't have a driveway now, okay.
That is correct. I have nothing, there is nothing there.
Is there an existing garage in your house?
Is there an existing garage?
Does your house have a garage?
Currently, yes, there is a garage in the house currently now.
Okay.
So how
And
do
what's
you-
in the garage, I'd like to put into this other garage so I can actually maybe park a car in this one.
Okay.
So are you going to use it more as a shed or as a?
I call it a storage shed. They told me I'm not allowed to call it a shed, I have to call it a garage. That's what I was
Because
told.
it's going to have a garage door.
Yes, it will have a
And what
garage
will you
door.
be
And
storing
if you'd
in?
like to put a motorcycle in it or something like that, they say you have to call it a garage.
So you're not going to be driving cars into it regularly?
Well,
I put my
there is-
camper,
But again,
different
this is
curb cut.
this is this user, then if we're building a structure like that, we have to presume that somebody's going to be parking cars in the future.
I would use it like I have up in my other location. I put my camper in there sometimes to do some work on it or whatever. I consider a shed, you guys consider it a garage,
But
tomato, tomato.
You're not
I
going to
mean,
operate a business in there, you're not doing any kind of commercial repairs.
Your driveway is on this side?
There is
How
no
you come-
driveway, he
Well,
said.
not a driveway, but how you get into your property. You have a gravel driveway, right? Is this on this side? Or dirt? You're not coming in this side?
No, I'm not coming in that side. Yes, I'm coming in the
I
front.
guess that's the house. But- Okay, so it would be on that side, the same side.
Is this the front of your house or the rear of your house?
Side of the house.
So is this like a little doghouse or something here?
Yes, that is a little doghouse up there.
Is that in the, again, is that in the rear of your house or is it in the side of your house?
It's
That's
between,
on the side of the house, but
it's between where you want to put this garage and the house.
Huh?
Between where the house is and where you want to put this garage?
No, that's totally on the wrong end.
I'm just making sure we don't have to deal with the variance needed, because, is this in the front of the rear line of your house? Or is it behind your house?
What, the garage?
This dog house?
That doghouse, that's behind the house.
That's behind the house. So that's all I'm asking. Okay,
That's behind the house.
just making sure.
Is the garage going here on this side?
That's what it appears from
So
the,
it's,
where he's drawn it in.
so it's not going in the rear, it's going in the front line of the house. Okay.
But it's detached, it's not attached, so that's why it's... So it's going to have 3 bays, it's going to have, I'm trying to get a sense of the layout of the
And I
garage.
wish I could have sworn I submitted a picture with this.
You brought them in, but I don't have them in the file. I saw them, because that's how I know it had the garage door on it.
Right. Basically, it's a steel shed.
Garage.
Thank you. Steel garage, 12-foot by 12-foot
Okay.
roll-up door, similar little 3-foot
One
door
door, 3 doors, how many?
to walk in, and that's basically it.
So it's one door on the same side as the house, not?
Yes, it's going to be one door facing the house. It's not going to be facing the road.
Okay, and steel, what color? Is it going to match your house? Is it?
I was probably going to get a brownish, either dark brown or medium brown to kind of
that
make it
kind of-
look like
kind of
it
your
matches the house, yes.
Okay, that's fine, and actually it would blend in much better with the trees and other darker colors blend in better. What kind of floor? I mean, it's going to have a
Concrete floor,
concrete floor?
yeah. Standard floor that you put in a garage.
Do other neighbors have detached garages in your neighborhood, or no?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the guy my property backs up against has several structures around it.
Okay. All right, comments or questions from board members?
So
It seems like, again, it's like an odd-shaped lot, but,
It is really odd.
but again, he has technically two front yards, the way the property is, because here's the front of the house and here's the front of the house. So, this is also coming in the front of the house.
But there's no way he can put it in that little area behind.
Exactly.
Is-
Exactly.
If I could, I'd prefer to put it up on,
can't,
there is
yeah.
absolutely no way to put it up there. It would make my life much easier if I could.
Right, that's,
It's impossible.
Correct.
so,
So I guess we need to make it part of the record that, the lot is odd shape, and
right,
so that's one of the reasons.
It's not exactly a great shaped lot.
right. Where's your septic?
On that side of the house that the garage would be facing.
So is it going to be between the house and the garage?
Yes, it'd be between.
Okay, so that's why it has to be so separated from your house?
Yes.
Okay, that explains that.
Got to make sure I give plenty of room, and in case I needed to extend the septic out, making sure I leave plenty of room before the garage even
To
gets there.
enlarge it, okay.
Okay.
And how about your well?
Well is on
Probably
the,
going to be in the back?
it's on the back side, not too far from that. It's actually in my basement, in the back part of the garage.
Okay. All right, I guess,
Now, how do you bring the cars in? You said you don't have a driveway, but
No, I'd actually have to, I guess, is there any special permit I'd have to also get to make another breach for a driveway off the main roadway?
Pam, is there a curb cut?
this is
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
this is a county road,
Right,
so
it's
yes,
county
there
and
would be
state,
a county.
Yeah, inquire when you're in the building department. That's not anything we're used to dealing with here, so.
because you don't have a driveway right now, and so that would be.
You're
a-
entitled to a curb cut, so,
Yeah.
But
it
what
is
kind of- what
it is a
permit you need.
It's a highway work permit.
Yeah, it's what you would need, I don't necessarily know for a residence, so.
Well, I know there's no actual curbs that you have to make because it's residential.
Right.
But usually you have to put a
Well,
little
but there is a
apron.
requirement to have an apron.
There's
exactly.
usually, you'd have to cut in and make a little apron at the end.
Right.
Where you enter from a roadway the rest of it could be gravel, but there's usually, I don't know, 10 feet or whatever they ask for.
Is this,
Something like
just to
that.
be sure, this is going to be one story, no, is there a second floor use?
No,
for this?
no second floors or anything,
second
whatever,
floor.
I think it's 20 foot tall.
Okay.
Sorry.
20 feet tall is quite tall.
There's 2 stories.
To the peak.
Oh.
That's
Oh,
not a
see,
second
We
story.
don't know what it's going to look like, so,
Can I show you a picture?
sure. We just want to make sure there's no second floor, any kind of residential use on a second floor there. Oh, okay. All right, so now I see the 12-foot garage door.
I just want to basically,
Got
what I
it.
have here, just go buy another one and put it there.
And so that's in another location, that one?
Yes, this one is
Okay.
up in Pleasant Valley.
Okay,
Another piece of property I have.
got it, okay. That's helpful.
Yeah, it is.
Again, to the extent that,
That's what I saw.
okay.
Yeah.
To the extent that you can have a picture,
it's done.
it's gone, it
Oh,
disappeared. To the extent that you can have a picture next month for your neighbors in case they want to see it,
Print that out, not a problem.
that would be helpful, okay?
The
All right.
20-foot is the ridge line then? The 20-foot, he was talking about the height before?
It's
Is it
looks like it's the
ridge
center of
line?
the eave,
That'd
yeah.
be the center, yes, that'd be the center of the eave, would probably be.
Yeah.
So this is on 52 also. What is the setbacks for that?
100 feet. It's 100 on state and county, so he
Okay.
needs 100 on both.
So his variance,
That's why.
he only needs one side of variance?
What's it zoned? What's it zoned for this?
I assume residential, no?
Residential, commercial.
Okay.
Right,
It's zoned both.
R1B1. I'm sorry, R3B1.
So it's 41 feet in, 41 feet in from Milltown Road. But how far is it in from, is that the 120?
From 52, yes, it'd be well over 100 feet in off of
Okay.
52.
So that's the important thing, we need to make sure you're exceeding the 100 feet.
I think you've indicated 120 feet up here.
At least. I think it's even more than that. I just
20
didn't.
feet plus.
Okay, plus, okay.
So, again, when we approve this, it has to, you can't move it closer than where you're showing on the drawing.
Closer towards 52.
Toward 52.
Now, if anything, it'd be
Or
closer
it
towards,
can't even be closer toward Milltown Road either.
no problem.
Okay? All right, motion to advertise?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, Pam will give you your instructions for your sign, and then we'll see you next month,
Beautiful, thank you.
okay? All right, and item number 9, Appeal 3776 Larson, Robert Larson, 82 Van Black Road, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 582-square-foot variance in order to build a 1,500-square-foot garage. Sorry, detached garage, 30 feet by 50 feet, as the footprint of the applicant's existing dwelling is 1,530 square feet, pursuant to Section 194-107C of the zoning ordinance.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Hello.
All right, now,
I have a large
let's
car
start
collection.
all over again.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I have a large car collection. I currently rent an area in a commercial area in Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
And I'd like to bring my cars to my house. They're all street legal cars. I have one race car, but I have a trailer for that.
Okay.
But they'd all be for my own personal use. I have a very range of cars.
So 30 feet by 50 feet is going to have multiple
That's going to have enough room.
bays,
It's
or-
going to be room for 5 vehicles.
Wow.
Yep. So, but there'll be two garage doors. I haven't purchased the building because I want to get approval beforehand.
Are any of them on a lift, or they're
No,
just?
I won't be putting a lift in there.
Okay.
I mean, ideally, I'd love to, but it would be for my use. I run a repair shop in Poughkeepsie, so I have access to that for
You're not doing
repairs.
repairs in
I won't be
this?
doing, no,
Thank you.
it would be my own, just my own
Personal use.
storage for my vehicles.
What's it going to look like?
It will match in appearance to the existing detached garages in the neighborhood. It would be kind of like a barn appearance. I haven't purchased a building. I'm actually just waiting to see if I get approval.
Okay.
And then I'm going to entertain what is available. My ceiling height would probably be about 14 feet maximum at the highest point. There'll be smaller garage doors, not big 12-foot tall doors.
Okay.
All my vehicles are regular size.
You're putting it pretty far back on your lot, and you do have almost 1.25 acres
Yeah,
on your
it's-
lot.
it's-
Why so far back, and how are you going to get the cars back there?
My driveway would just continue on straight back. Currently, it's to the right side of the residence. It would continue on back, kind of parallel with the property line. Just so I have lawn space. That's the only lawn that I have. At the back side of the garage, there's trees. So from there to the back of the property line, there's not really useful property at that point.
Okay. Where's your septic?
Septic's in the front of the property.
Front, okay.
Yep. And the well is if you're looking at the property, the well is to my left.
Okay.
It's a family home that my grandparents built in '62, and my great-grandfather built the house next door back in the '50s. So
That's cool.
it's been a family home since then.
Okay. So, again, the layout of it,
It would be two
Five bays face
garage.
on, or?
Well, I'm trying to position it kind of sideways a little bit so it's not as obtrusive.
Right.
I'm going to have ideally 2 garage doors next to each other and then 1 entrance door on the front side of it. But I'd like to kind of angle it slightly so it's not just this big block in the middle of the property for appearance, so I don't cause any issues.
Is there an existing shed back here that's coming
There
down?
is, that will be coming down, yes. That's
It's
been
gonna
there.
be in that location?
The shed is kind of between where the proposed garage is and the residence, so
Right, we
that
see.
will be almost where the driveway would be
Okay.
proposed. And it's not going to be a drive, it'll just be a small gravel path back to the resident, or the garage.
So is the footprint of this garage actually larger than the footprint of your house?
It's pretty close to the size, yeah.
Because the way you've drawn it, it looks like it's bigger, but.
Yeah, well, I think it's a little bit wider, but not as long.
Okay.
Slightly.
Yeah, I agree with
And
you.
I have it staked in the property in the back before I had the surveyor come out, and
And your property is level, and
it's level in the back, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
there's no real inclines left or right, no.
and tell me how close your neighbors are on either side. Where are their houses, or?
Actually, from the driveway, if you're looking at my residence, the driveway to the right is about 30 feet to my neighbor, and then to the other side is probably 70, 80 feet at least to a trailer that was my great-grandparents, and then the house is another 100 or 200 feet to the left, even farther than that. And there's nobody to the rear.
Yeah, it looks like the houses to the right of yours seem to be pretty much on par with how far back yours is. They
Correct.
appear to be
Yes,
very
they're all
similar.
in, it's
But you're
actually
right, the lot to the left has a,
that's my great-grandfather's home. That's where he had built, and then
That one's further back,
my
but he-
property and the property to the right of mine were all his at one time, and then he split it off to the siblings.
okay. Is there some kind of swale or drainage or
There's a
something
drainage
through there?
has been there since I could remember between my driveway and the neighbor's drive. It's just stone. It was done when the house to the
Kind
right
of
of
looks
me.
like an aqueduct, the way it's.
It's odd. There's a little bit of a bridge that goes over in
Yes, I
the
see
backyard
it.
from the neighbor over, so he can utilize the remaining of his property. But it would be in like appearance to existing. There's another building that looks more like a garage or an industrial garage,
Yeah.
and a neighbor that's two lots over. But
it.
mine will look more like more appearing to the residents. It's going to match the appearance of the home.
Yeah, your neighbor two over has a
Yeah,
building
he's got one even larger,
significantly back. so.
almost 1,800 square feet.
If you're going to put 5 cars in, how do you get the 5th car in with only 2?
Well, they're going to, ideally, more of them, they're more storage for the couple other, but they'll come in and go to the side. And then the 2 that I'd be
enough
periodically
room to
using, they would come in and then go to the sideways. The reason for 2 doors is so I can have the 2 that I would normally drive to car cruises or something. My father also has a classic car that he's going to be living with me there. So it's in the family.
Okay. It will be helpful for you to speak to your neighbors.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yep.
Gertrude Probst sent a letter in your support, and
I'm sorry?
I think your neighbor that's behind,
Okay.
she has already written a letter in support
Oh, okay.
of the
Oh,
application.
very good.
Yeah, I remember seeing something, I think,
Not that
we got a letter, didn't we?
Yeah.
I saw a letter, I think somebody,
I didn't see one.
I mean, I've had a surveyor out, so unless the surveyor contacted her, I'm not sure, though.
And this is only 1 story?
One story, yes, yeah. That's what I said. I mean, at the maximum, it'd probably be 14-foot ceilings.
No?
okay, maybe it was a different applicant. I remember seeing a letter in support, but maybe for a different person.
All right.
Okay,
Comments or questions from board members?
I'm good.
Motion to advertise?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we'll see you next month.
Yep.
Pam will give you your instructions for your sign.
Thank you.
All right. And that should be it. Just to the extent that you can show something what it's going to look like.
I can actually, what I'll
right.
do is I'll get some brochures from the different, it's a steel structure, but it's a color siding.
Okay. It's just big, so your neighbors might be interested in seeing what it's going to look like.
I will do such. And in the meantime, what I'll do is I'll contact all the 250 feet, I think they had said.
500 feet. They'll contact.
250?
She'll do it.
Okay. Oh, I mean, but also, I'll go.
But to the extent that you, right.
Show them where the property is. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you. We'll see you next month. Pam, we didn't mention the last applicant, Mr. Rowland, because he's on 2 roads, he's going to need 2 signs. He's on Milltown on 52.
Right.
All right, he's going to need 2 signs.
I told him.
Okay, good. I just
did.
want to make sure because
Yeah.
we try to cover that. All right, at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to go into executive session. We have some pending litigation we need to discuss with our attorney. It will not be a long executive session. It's probably just going to be just a couple minutes again, but John does need to update us on some things. So do I have a motion to go into executive session for the
So moved.
purpose of litigation, discussing pending litigation?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
you before you leave. Roland, the guy in Milltown. His,
Reconvene.
Motion to reconvene from executive session?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion